President Trump's global tariffs appear to be on shaky ground after Supreme Court justices on Wednesday casted doubt on legality of President Trump's global tariffs under emergency law. Conservative and liberal justices alike sharply questioned the lawyer representing Trump's administration about Trump's use of emergency powers to impose tariffs on imports from nearly every U.S. trading partner. In a hearing lasting more than 2.5 hours, several conservative justices questioned whether the International Emergency Economic Powers Act that Trump invoked confers the authority to impose tariffs. Solicitor General, arguing on behalf of the Trump administration, said this did not apply given the president's inherent broad range of authorities. Meanwhile, responding to the Supreme Court hearing on tariffs, US President Trump said it would be devastating if they lost the case.
It would be devastating for our country if we lost that. Devastating. I think it's one of the most important, maybe the most, but one of the most important cases in the history of our country.
All right, and DD India's Akshay Dongre joins us live. Hi, Akshay. Very good morning to you. Akshay, the US government shutdown's impact could be clearly seen on the aviation industry now. 10% cut in flights at 40 major US airports. How do you see this, Akshay?
Well, this was bound to happen, Siddharth, because the kind of shutdown and the way it has stretched to a record now, the longest shutdown ever in the U.S. history, is impacting people, is impacting families, impacting federal workers who are not getting salaries, who have been laid off, the functioning of the government, day-to-day functioning, and this cut was necessary because you can't risk the safety of air traffic, the passengers, the flights, the goods, and everything else. Because if the workers are less, then the measures to implement the security measures are less. To monitor the ATC and everything else is less as well, and that can result into a devastating accident as well. That's the worst case scenario. So situation to bring it under control, the workers are being cut down. But it's not just the aviation sector. It's across sectors, be it healthcare, be it social security, education, other areas as well, where federal workers are deployed. All of those areas are seeing impact as far as these. This government shutdown is concerned, and now what we are seeing is a total turnaround from what US President Donald Trump was saying earlier, about 20 days back, that it's a good opportunity to sort of cut back on certain schemes that have been going on and that he found useless. And he also said that shutdown can be an opportunity to remove dead wood. But now, we just heard he is pinning the blame of the losses in Virginia, in New York, and in New Jersey on the shutdown, and seems that this is going to be the modus operandi. But whether or not the Democrats and the Republicans will be able to end the shutdown and the government bring the government back on track, that remains to be seen, especially with an empowered Democratic Party now after the victories in the recent states.
The shutdown is a lot, when it comes to United States, and there seems to be no consensus between Democrats and Republicans. How do you assess that?
Well, it's been going on for about 40 days now, 38 days now. It's the same thing, Siddharth. It remains the same, that it's over budgetary allocation, and it will only solve when the two parties agree to come to a consensus about these schemes like social security, healthcare for Americans, where still no indications are coming in from the Republicans.
Definitely. Akshay, also, what is the update as far as the Supreme Court's hearing regarding Trump's tariffs are concerned? Any update on that?
Well, the indication, Siddharth, is clearly that there are doubts. There are serious doubts that are being expressed by the judges in the U.S. Supreme Court. The majority of judges is in the conservative, camp, which is about 6-3. So there are about 6 conservative judges to 3, non-conservative liberal judges, where the hopes are high from the Republican Party that they will be siding with the Trump administration, but all of those conservative judges also have their doubts. They are expressing doubts. Questions were raised during the hearing that what is the utility of such sweeping tariffs. So tariffs are not in question as per the Trump administration is trying to portray, but the kind of unilateral tariffs that have been implemented. So the questions that were raised were that why were tariffs there on Spain, why were tariffs there on France? Those are not the major trade countries either at this point in time, and they are our allies. So situation remains, on a wait and watch mode because the hearing is going to take some time. Supreme Court takes a lot of time to give verdict on these kind of hearings. But in this particular case, because it involves, the U.S. economy, the world, global trading system, and billions of dollars in trade, as Donald Trump is pointing it out to be, expectations are that the judges will be moving quickly to conclude the hearing on this case.
All right, Akshay, we leave it there. Thank you so much.